Story time on why it's so important to have a good relationship with your tenant as a landlord, because it can heavily affect you leasing it the next time around. So I showed a unit recently to two different clients, and on first glance when we walked into the unit, both clients absolutely loved it. So much space, so much light, great area, and the den also had a window, so great office space. But price was pretty cheap, so my spidey senses were definitely up. One thing that I do with rentals is if I'm viewing a unit and it's a currently tenanted unit, I always ask the tenant why they're leaving. Because at first glance, if it's a beautiful unit, I'm kind of wondering why they're leaving. If they say something like, oh, they're moving in with a partner, moving out of the country, then that tells me it's still a great unit and there's been no problems. But if they're leaving a good unit for not such good reasons, I want to know why. So in quick conversation with the current tenant, she mentioned that the freezer never works, and essentially the landlord told her to defrost it every 2 months instead of replacing the freezer. And it just seemed that the relationship between the tenant and the landlord would never fix anything and didn't really take good care of the unit, and there was a bit of a contentious relationship between them. What the tenant was telling us is beware. If you're going to come into this unit, already know what's wrong with the unit and don't expect anything to get fixed. And while both my clients absolutely loved the unit, right away we had no interest in putting in an offer. All that being said, I'm sure it will get leased, but as an agent or even as a tenant client, if you're viewing a unit with a tenant already in there, don't hesitate to ask the questions to gauge if there's anything wrong with the unit, the building, or the current landlord.